Hi everyone, it's Bodega Profeta, and I'm super excited today. I'm gonna be starting my new YouTube series. This series is gonna be about stories and books of the Bible. Doesn't really matter which Bible. The one I'm gonna really focus on today is Ecclesiastes, and I really hope I am pronouncing that right. This book is made up of 12 chapters. The actual author is unknown, but some texts say that it could have been King Solomon. And I kind of ran with that because I love King Solomon. He was one of the most wealthiest men to have ever walked this earth, and a lot of people don't know about him, and a lot of people like to you know change the color of his skin in like these images that they paint of him. He was black. He was the king of Israel, and if today he were to bring his all his money in today's terms, he would have been worth $2 trillion. That's right, not one but $2 trillion. King Solomon was a very religious person. He was a philanthropist. He didn't know what to do with his money at that point. Honestly, he was buying land, building houses, building a temple. He built this beautiful temple, um, and it's known as the first temple. And there's a documentary about it, on the web somewhere. You can watch about just this extravagant temple, you know, and this was his house of worship. And some people like to say that he actually had a hold of the Ten Commandments and he put them in the Ark of the Covenant, and that's why he built the temple, because he was holding the Ark of the Covenant there. There's a lot of speculations, a lot of stories, a lot of rumors. So it's not really set in stone where the Ark of the Covenant is, or if it even really exists. There's some place, I think in Lalibela, Africa. They're Christian, and they like to say that they have it, and they have like this guy on guard 24/7 watching over this place where it is. But no one really knows where the Ark of the Covenant is, or if it's still here till this day. But anyway, so people were saying that King Solomon was the writer of Ecclesiastes. Um, so the the way that King Solomon lived his life was just, there should be so many movies about this man. Like, sooner or later, hopefully, if Hollywood, please make a movie, or even more than one. He was just trying to fulfill every void in him, really, and then it comes a lot in the book. He felt the void, so he bought this property, built this house, and it was just like one void after another. He would fill it, and he would still not be fulfilled. He would still not be happy. One of the chapters I want to talk about is chapter 7, line 4. This is directly quoted from the book. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of the fools is in the house of pleasure. Let me say that one more time. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of pleasure. That sticks. Like, that sticks. Because I did talk about my last video, um, of really like when Adam and Eve, take a bite of the fruit, the forbidden fruit, and now they have all this knowledge, and with this knowledge comes this remorse and this sadness, and I feel like that is so true. Like, the more you know, the sadder you are as a person, but like the more you don't know, you're much happier. Like, you're just not, not to call anybody a ditz or anything like that, but it says the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, which is the mourning. Like, you don't necessarily have to lose somebody to mourn. You can mourn so many things, and you can be sad about so many things. And then the heart of the fool is in the house of pleasure. But God still don't want you to be a fool. At the end of the day, God wants you to be wise. At this point, if you're gonna be something, you have to be wise. Um, you know, here comes into play guilty pleasures and sinning. We're all sinners. I'm definitely a sinner. I curse, not to get into depth about my whole life. I try to live a peaceful life as much as possible, but there are things that got to me, and I can definitely say I've mourned, and I am mourning. I'm still mourning till this day. I think everyone will every day, if you are wise. No, okay. But that line really stuck to me. Is it an inevitable fate to be in this mourning, like, or is he just speaking in general? You know. So let's go to the next line, same chapter 7. We're on line 29. This is quoted directly again. God created mankind upright, but they have gone in search of many schemes. Here we go. God created mankind upright, but they have gone in search of many schemes. Okay, so just like King Solomon, we're all trying to fill our void. We're all trying to look for the next thing to satisfy our needs. I'm guilty of that. I like to parade and be like, yo, I don't need anybody. I got this all by myself. And you know what? I do. For the most part, I do. But at one certain point in my life, I would like to settle down. And it's kind of like I'm always trying to fill that void of like trying to get into a committed relationship, trying to be in a stable relationship, trying to, but all this time that I'm chasing, I'm not focusing on my inner self. I'm thinking just because of my age, I'm ready. Maybe I'm not. Maybe there's so many other things that I gotta figure out, and I'm learning about that. But I do feel like that's one of the voids I am trying to fulfill. You know, God created me upright. Okay, when I was born into a very poor family. Living on food stamps. Don't know how we really got month to month rent. I don't know, but back in the day, rent was super cheap in Brooklyn. Not anymore, but yeah. And then, you created me upright, and God brings me into an environment of basically where a child is raising a child. My mom was a child. She was a teenager when she had me. I was around drugs, violence, you created me upright, but now my upbringing is what? Many schemes, I've gone in search of I wasn't searching for nothing when I was a kid. I was just looking for cereal and cartoons. That's pretty much it. But as I got older, I was trying to look for to build my own family so I can, not have the life that I had growing up. To have a life, where I'm being shown affection and love consistently, and that was my downfall. Excuse that, I'm right by a highway. But yeah, so that one was kind of confusing to me. I'm not gonna lie, because a lot that has to do with who you are as a person. It is really about how you was raised, and people always say, get over it already. It's hard when you're literally programmed to be a certain way, and that goes with different cultures, with different upbringings. Like in my culture, all I ever grew up around was fighting, drinking, you know, getting physical with each other. All this stuff like I grew up around, and I'm trying to not be that person, but sometimes it ends up being that person. Don't downplay Latinos though. There's still Latinos that are not like that. But you know, it's just that line stuck to me, and that's why I put it there. Now we're gonna go into chapter 10. And it goes, here we go. If a ruler's anger rises against you, do not leave your post. Calmness can lay great offense to rest. If a ruler's anger rises against you, do not leave your post. Calmness can lay great offenses to rest. I love this, and I read this week, and instead of applying it, I kind of just brushed it under the rug and to my physical life, and I put it in my notes, brushed it under the rug, and I continue on to sin that day. And what do you mean by when I say was sin? Drinking. So here's King Solomon, hopefully, saying, if someone's angry at you, do not react, do not respond, stay still, stay calm. And people use this technique all the time, but it's easier said than done, especially with someone who's hot-headed, or especially with someone who's under the influence, whether it be drugs or alcohol. I was sober for a very long time, and unfortunately I broke out of that, and I feel like a lot of consequences came from that. Maybe you might not see it as a sin, because even in this book they talk about, I don't know specifically where, I didn't write it down, but in the book they were like, if you're gonna be with your wife, get drunk, have fun with your wife. Enjoy every moment. But for me personally, I cannot control myself when I drink. I cannot bite my tongue. If someone's coming at me, I'm gonna come at you tenfold, because that's just how I am. I'm a very dominant, I'm a very aggressive person. If I feel like I'm being attacked, I'm going to attack even harder. But I really should apply this to my life, but you know what? Everything happens for a reason, and there's consequences for the things you do. But calmness can lay great offense to rest. Honestly, not reacting to every situation, will put you so much ahead of everyone, because in this day and age, everything is a attack. Everything is this, you can't say anything without offending somebody, and you can't, like, and I get it, we live in a very sensitive time, and I'm a very sensitive person. But if someone's not looking at you eye to eye, and someone's not comprehending you, they're not. Because in this world, we're living in the same world, but we're all different. We're all living different lives. Technically, different worlds too, because my world is not the same as your world, and on and on and on. We may not even perceive the world the same. We don't hear it the same. We're not gonna experience the same as anybody. Whether this is your partner, your parent, your best friend, your teacher, your boss, you guys are never gonna see eye to eye. I don't care who could be like, yeah, I get along with everybody. At the end of the day, you might come off as, I get along with everybody, and I can comprehend this or that, but at the end of the day, in your inner thoughts, what are you thinking? I don't agree with this person, but I'm gonna just agree just because. And that's fine. And you know what? There's always a better way to handle things. You're always gonna think, I could have handled that different. Even if you did stay silent and didn't talk, you still would have been like, but I didn't get my point across. So it's like a never ending. Being a human is a lot of work. And honestly, when people say we're here for no purpose, we're here to have fun, live a good life, and die, I don't believe that. Because why is God putting us through all these challenges? Why do we have to experience all these things and just say it's for nothing, it's just because? I don't feel that way. I feel that everyone here has a purpose. You have your divine purpose. Everyone is special. Everyone is so special. And people don't feel that way. People don't think that they're important. People don't think they're special. And I hope that changes, like, after you you look more into yourself and spirituality and the meaning of like life. So another text I want to quote, we have, follow the ways of your heart and whatever your eyes see, but know that for all these things God will bring you into judgment. So then ban anxiety from your heart and cast off the troubles of your body. What? Let's say that again. Follow the ways of your heart and whatever else you see. But know that for all these things, God will bring you into judgment. So then banish anxiety from your heart and cast off the troubles of your body. So let's focus on the first part. Follow the ways of your heart and whatever else your eyes see. But know that God's going to bring you into judgment. So what are you looking at? Is it something that God's going to judge you for? Is it something that's righteous? Or is it something that's sinful? Follow them. Follow. Do what you want to do. Basically, God is saying you have free will to do whatever you want, but there will be consequences and you will be judged. I'm a firm believer of karma. I'm a firm believer that what you do comes back to bite you. And if you're doing good, you're going to be rewarded. And if you're doing bad, you're not going to be rewarded. And God's going to forgive you no matter what. Like, don't know to what extreme, but God's going to forgive you. So the second part, so then banish anxiety from your heart and cast off troubles of your body. And I think about this all the time. I think about how do I banish anxiety from my heart? The heart only knows one language, and it's love. But being consumed by anxiety, it will consume your whole body, taking over your heart. Envy, jealousy, anger, all those things, when you vocalize, they manifest bad things to you. And I don't know how to deal with anxiety. I smoked pot for a long time to cope with anxiety. I felt like sometimes if I was in a bad mood, I would smoke and I'd be like calm and chill. I have a problem where I feel like I have to have control of every situation and I have to know what's going on. Like if I'm with you, I have to know what's going on in your head. I have to feel like you're okay with me, because if you're in a bad mood, I get anxiety. I get super anxious and nervous, and I feel like no one likes me, and I feel like everyone hates me, and all of that is terrible, because it gives me like these recently panic attacks, anxiety attacks, whatever you want to call it. Ban anxiety from your heart. Most of the time, if I am feeling anxious and I don't want to smoke, I don't want to fall into temptation, I just grab the Bible, tears and all, and I start reading the Bible. I got emotional right now because I am in a transition in my life where there's a lot going on. Like I just moved across the country. Like I'm from New York. I just moved to Hawaii. I left my family out there. Like it's a lot. But I am excited, and that was anxiety taking over. You see, anxiety. Ain't no crying here. Keep it together, Jay. Okay. So yeah, banish anxiety from your heart. That's something that maybe I work really well with words of affirmation. So maybe something that I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna start adding words of affirmation when I remember to and seeing them. And I think one of those things I'm gonna say is banish anxiety from your heart and cast off all the troubles of your body. There's no point to have all this anxiety over your body. For a split second, feel it, and then get rid of it. It's out of your hands. It's out of your control. Leave it to God. Why question what God's doing? Yeah, it's going to hurt. Yeah, you're going to feel sad. You're going to miss the people you love. But, at the end of the day, we're all connected spiritually. And love is love. It will reach either all the way from here to New York. It'll reach. So next verse I want to say is after that loud car just passed. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. So that was fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. I went into the Ten Commandments of the Hebrew Bible. It's just slightly different than like the Catholic Ten Commandments, but basically, one thing that I wanted to touch base on in the Ten Commandments is honoring your parents. God comes first, and then your two parents who raised you, then them. I had a lot of difficulties growing up with both of my parents. Unfortunately, I lost my father, not too long ago, but I always maintained the relationship with him. I might have disrespected him a few times because I obviously, I'm a human, I'm gonna make a mistake. But I always, when I spoke about my father, try to speak about him in a good light, always, no matter what. And I always said, like, if I needed anything, he would be there for me. And I appreciate that in the Ten Commandments, God is telling you always to honor your parents, no matter what the circumstance. Then I had a falling out with my mom, and even though I was so like upset and not that me and her couldn't come into agreement, come into terms, and be good, I would never hold a grudge against her. I would never be like, well, you know what? At the end of the day, never, 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 never gonna talk to her again. No. I allowed myself to feel the pain. I allowed to take her space. If she don't want to be around me, that's fine. And you know what? She came back. And I was always willing to forgive her. She's my mother. If this was like somebody else though, like nah, that's not gonna happen. But it's my mother, and in the Ten Commandments, God wants you to be there for your parents. God wants you to put them the same way you perceive God. And I'm gonna always follow that no matter what. No matter what happens between me and my mom, I'm gonna always talk in a good light about her, and I'm gonna always just forget the past and throw it out and just focus on the now. Focus on the now and us, and honor her always, and my daddy. All right. So the next part I'm gonna quote, "For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it's good or evil." I stand by this 100%. I realized that even when I was in a really good place in my life, where I thought I was making a lot of money, I had a lot of friends, I had a really good job, I could buy anything I wanted, I had a car, I had my own apartment, like I was chilling, living my best life. And I was manifesting a lot. And then I came across some souls that I envied. I don't think it was the money. I think it was more of the relationship they had with somebody they was with. And all that jealousy started creating this monster in me. And I turned into this person that when I look back, I wouldn't be able to recognize myself. And through all that jealousy and animosity I was creating, I ended up, digging myself into a really bad hole. I finally came out of that hole. I'm finally in a really good place. Obviously working on myself, working on the spiritual journey. and trying to help other people, because there's no, there's no like a school for this. Like it's crazy. The first battle is with yourself, is within yourself, and accepting, here are my flaws, and what do I gotta do to fix these flaws, and accepting, like, accepting that when you mess up, you mess up. For every deed will go into judgment, and every hidden thing, whether it's good or evil, will be seen by God. Even if nobody knows about all that stuff that you be doing on the low, and you think it's fine because nobody knows, obviously God knows. And it's gonna come into judgment. And it doesn't have to wait till you die, and now God is judging you and thinking about where to send you and this, that, and the third. That's for another story. But it could be right now. Think about it. When you're in this negative space and you, all these, everything you do is a problem, and everything is this and that, and like the littlest thing could be so dramatic and terrible. Think about what you're gonna do, what you attracting to your life. Everything is seen, no matter what. Even if you like cheating on your spouse, right? And you think nobody's gonna find out, you good? You're not good. One, guilty conscience is a real thing. Even if it's subconsciously, you're gonna be manipulating your life in the wrong way. And two, why would God gonna see, and God's not gonna like that. I feel like this book came to me at the right time. Um, you know, there's a lot in my life happening right now, so I'm very sensitive, and but it was good to come across this book, especially by King Solomon, like someone I really like. I knew about him from before, but I didn't know that it was suspected that he wrote a book in the Hebrew Bible. But that really wouldn't be surprising. He had all the money in the world, and he could have written about anything he wanted. But obviously, he's talking about some key points and some real stuff. So let's just touch base on certain things. Like, I'm over here thinking about so many things, and I need to just focus on this. Key points. I want to go back to, if someone is like coming at you and being aggressive, don't react. Don't react. And if you feel like you can't, you don't have control over that, when you're under the influence, don't. And if you feel like you can't even handle it sober, then maybe this person that you're arguing with, remove yourself from that situation, walk away. In any aspects of your life, like, it doesn't matter what kind of relationship it is, like I said, whether it be parents, or because I've been in all of them, with everybody. Especially being from New York, that's the mentality. You can't even look at somebody in New York, where I'm from. If you look at me a certain way, I'm gonna think you beefing, like you're gonna fight me. What's the problem? What's the problem? You know. But certain places you go, like in Hawaii, people say hi. Everybody's nice. Everybody, it depends where you're from. You raised in a, I have to protect myself 24/7. I have to be on guard 24/7, and that's how you're gonna be. But it takes a lot of hard work to break those chains off and just be yourself, and not just be an enigma and just be like everyone else. Well, I'm like this because I was raised like this, and I'm from New York, or I'm from this place, or I'm from Chicago, and I'm a bad person because I gotta be, because that's how I was raised to be. God maybe put you in those predicaments to learn from those situations, to make you a stronger person. But God didn't put you there for you to be that person for the rest of your life. We gotta come out of that. We gotta come out of that this is the way it is and then I'm not gonna change. You know, we're always evolving and we're always changing. We're always growing. We're always gonna be like, you know what, maybe this is not gonna work for me. I can do this. I can change. I can be a better person. Um, yeah. And then working on anxiety is a big thing. You know, I wasn't able to quote everything in that book, but I read the whole book and it really got to me. It was really just focusing on stop trying to fill these voids and chasing the wind and acceptance. That's the number one thing. Accept the life you have. Accept this moment. You are exactly where you need to be. And you know what? I feel a little better. I really was hesitant about making this video just because I'm still in the transition of moving. You know, I got a lot of things I'm dealing with. Um, so you know, I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to do all of this and be here right now, and I was able to record this series for you guys. So yeah, that was the book of Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes. It sounds such a bad like a Ecclesiastes. I don't know. But thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment if you'd like. And yeah, Bodega Profeta signing out.